Hi everyone. Welcome back to A Sky Full of Stars, Orihime's Route, Episode 4. So, Orihime has this really big idea about running a show at the planetarium. And there is a week where the planetarium is closed for special events, and Orihime thinks that she could put her event in. So it is one of Orihime's wild dreams, but at least it's something not too crazy and something that everyone else can do. So Orihime invited Honoka to join in, and Akito, and then Saya tagged along with it. And Colonel wanted to join in as well, but she's busy with her exams, and because of her parents, it's better to be safe, so have Karuna study her tests instead of working on this event. And I'm sure Takeichi is making sure Karuna does that because he doesn't want to get yelled at by his mother. So anyways, it looks like the planetarium person, so Morita-san, cannot accept Orihime's request, and I think it's because of scheduling. So let's see what he has to say.
申し訳ないが、スケジュール以前の問題です。
So it's a little hard to fit into our schedule. And that is a quick refusal.
それはどういう。
確かに当館は地域貢献を目的として休館日に限り施設を提供することがあります。ですが、その予定は通常半年から1年前には申し入れがあるものなのですよ。
So those are planned in advance. So 6 months lead time.
つまり、急な話すぎると。
So I wonder if there are any openings left, or those off days are all booked up.
その通りです。こちらもただ設備を提供すれば良いというわけにも参りませんので。
Okay, so that's a problem as well. Morita-san had a point. So we just realized ourselves that it takes someone who knows what they are doing. And the staff here had to be well trained in order to carry out their highly skilled jobs. And showing up suddenly and asking them to let us do something like this just because we wanted to is a bit absurd.
既存のプログラムを上映するだけでしたら可能です。そのような企画もいくつか行われていますし。
でもそれでは。
天文部の皆さんがイベントを行う。それなのに既存のプログラムを流すだけでは目的や意義も失ってしまいます。違いますか
Morita-san's argument hit home with both Orihime and me. So he had probably already taken the fact into consideration when making his decision. And he probably just wanted to be polite since Orihime is the daughter of somebody he knows. But then that also meant his decisions probably struck her even harder than if he hadn't been a stranger. So there's no defending argument against that.
ご理解いただけたようで何よりです。それでは次の開演まで時間もありませんので。
Wait. So Morita-san has been about to leave, but he stops and turns to look at me. He stares at me with a slight frown on his face. And all the sympathy that I'd seen in his eyes as he spoke to Orihime has disappeared.
まだ何か?
So what else? So will you please show us your schedule if there are no available openings, and then we won't bother you any longer?
まだ諦めていないのですか?
Well, there's no point. While giving up and leaving after being told it would be too difficult is something a child would do. So if we weren't serious, a simple small email would have sufficed. So there's a reason we went out of our way to come down here to speak with you in person. So he came here to negotiate. So I'm sure it's like, well, it's a done deal. No means no, and there's nothing to negotiate about. So he's quite the imposing adult. And yet Orihime has mentioned him before.
でも昔ながらのこれがいいというファンも多いの。こちらの館長さんもその一人なんです。
So you are clearly a star lover as well. I can tell just by seeing how wonderful this planetarium is. And it's true that you, or our proposal is rather sudden, and I understand that our request is a bit unreasonable. However, we really wanted to do this, and that's why we decided we should come down here to speak with you first. It's like when you have a sudden urge to just pick up your telescope and go out somewhere else away from the city lights to watch the stars. And I'm sure you experienced that feeling before. And that's why I'm sure I could get through to him. And he would understand if he was really like us.
そうですね。若い頃は私もそうだった。
I guess. And when something you are passionate about, you can't just sit around. And you have to get up and do something, even if it's something that's a bit reckless.
だから君たちの提案を受け入れろと？
So is that what you want?
それに何の意味があるのです。結果、惨めな思いをするだけだ。
Well, do you believe that? And you may think that's reckless now, but you can't be sure that it won't turn out to be great later on. But this is just words right now, so let us prove to you how serious we are about this. And if we could only understand the situation and determine what the other party wants, we would be able to figure out what it was we should be doing. So we can write up an event proposal for you. So please consider this and reverse judgment or reserve judgment until you see this. So please, will you at least consider it or reconsider?
お願いします。
So Orihime and I both bow our heads as low as they could go. And if we could show him something of a real substance, not just a sentimental argument, I'm sure he would come around.
二人とも頭を上げなさい。
So raise your heads.
では、
So what's now? Or what now?
早がてんしないように。私は甘くありませんよ。ですが、あなた方の作る企画に興味が湧きました。現役の天文部員が何を目指し、何をなそうというのか。それは私にとっても非常に興味深い。ですので、その企画書を作ってきなさい。イベント用の枠も確保しておきましょう。
So, as Morita-san says, he pulls a small notepad out of his pocket.
そうですね。来月の17日、月曜日なら予定も空いています。
So, there is an opening.
準備を含めると、最低でも今月中には企画書を見せてもらわねば間に合いません。
Okay.
可能ですか？
He gave us a sharp, testing look. So, are you able to do this? So give me a proposal beforehand and let me consider whether or not this is going to work. I almost faltered under his gaze, but I am in high spirits now, so at least there's hope. if it hadn't been a one-sided argument, this is the result of two adults meeting at the negotiating table.
可能です。我々なら必ずお見せできます。
そちらの彼はどうです？
So we will have to be sure to have the proposal to you on time.
よろしい。では企画書をよろしくお願いします。
Morita-san nods once and then turns and heads back towards the office. So I forgot to mention that the projectors in the planetarium, they're operated manually, and that's why you have to be trained. And I'm sure for the live event, they know all of the functions, and they know how to coordinate with the commentary or the person who's doing the narration. And for the pre-recorded events, I'm sure they have the entire plan laid out about what to do, or basically like the instructions. So they know how to rotate the projector. But for Orihime's event, it looks like they have to learn what to do. And I'm sure if they see the proposal, they'll have an idea about what they should project on the projector to or basically sync with Orihime's event. So as we walk out of the planetarium, I felt like I could finally breathe again.
話には伺っていたけれど、本当に厳しい方でしたわね。
So at least he will reconsider our request. And I turned to look at Orihime, and this had been extremely stressful for both of us, and it kind of felt like we had both survived a battle.
本当に助かったわ。ありがとう、空見くん。
No, all I did was just buy us some extra time.
それでもよ、私ならあのまま引き下がっていたかも。
So the astronomy community is full of kind people, and people know from experience that they need to help one another and work together. And I guess it could be considered a cooperative effort of sorts. And that's just one of the reasons that people accepted Orihime's overbearing personality.
私は打たれ弱いのかもしれないわね。
She probably never experienced such a severe counteroffensive to her request before. And there had been a time where I wasn't sure that the Six Stars Club would be able to make a comeback, but everyone has ended up lending a hand.
それに比べて空見くんは強いわ。
Well, in the past, I had to learn how to take it out of necessity. And when I lost my parents in the accident, my life had been torn apart in a single night. And Orihime probably never had to deal with anything like this before. And she most likely had been raised in a healthy, loving family with a lot of money. And the two of us are different, and there's no need for us to be the same. And it's because of the fact that we are different that we're able to accomplish different things. So everyone has a role to fulfill, and isn't it better that way? So it's not about who's better, but about what each individual can contribute.
私にもできることがあるかしら。
So Orihime, so you're the only person any of us have made it this far in the first place. In the revival of the Six Stars Club, the creation of the Place 1, so you're even the reason I started looking at this stars again. And that's a undisputable fact. So she's the only one who had guided me to where I am now. So you are a leader, so please don't ever lose sight of what is that you want to do. So making that a reality is my job, and I'll be the one to fight off any opposition.
まるでお姫様を守るナイトね。
So every man is capable of stepping up and being a knight if there is a princess in need. And that's how it works. And that makes Orihime kind of blush a little, or surprised. And it wasn't until the very end that I started feeling a little bit embarrassed. So he mentioned Orihime being the princess. Well, her name, Hime, does mean princess in Japanese. So I started to feel a little like a confession of love. It's entirely possible that she could get the wrong impression.
ありがとう、空見くん。あなたにそんな風に言われてしまったら、私もお姫様になるしかないわね。覚悟を決めました。私は逃げません。あなたを信じて前だけを見ていきます。だからお願い。弱い私だけれど、ずっと守ってくださいね。
She took my hand as she asked this of me. And strangely, that made me think about the first time we had met. So now that our business is taken care of, we decide to head home before it gets too late. And I feel that, well, for Orihime, it's really hard to deny her requests with all her cute looks and the way that she looks when she's in desperate need of help. And I always remember that one event in the very beginning when Akito tried to bail out of Orihime's 6 stars proposal, and Orihime just quickly jumped in and was like, no, wait, please reconsider. And at that point, it was really hard for Akito to stay firm with, well, I'm not going to continue this. It's like, well, I'll reconsider and I'll think about it, even though he was trying hard to, well, I want to say no the next time I meet her. But in the end, he stayed put, and now it's led to this, with him being actively involved in the 6 Stars Club and astronomy. So we are rocking with the bus as it rattles down the road. Hey, so are you sure this is okay?
質問の意味がわからないのだけれど。
So this is the bus to the Mikazuki station. So you don't live there, but you're taking the bus that goes towards my place. So why? So it's not heading in the direction of Mako Academy.
構わないわ。一つ気になることがありますの。
So what does Orihime want? She didn't elaborate on the point any more than that. So I'll make it a surprise, and you'll find out.
次は星の駅前。星の駅前でございます。お降りの方はブザーでお知らせください。
Well, if you're going to transfer, this is where you will transfer.
いいのいいの。
No, it's okay. So Orihime looks like she is enjoying this. It's like, well, the surprise. So don't worry, just stay put, sit still. And the fact that I had no idea what is going to happen is probably spurring her on even more. So when the bus arrives at the Mikazuki station, we both get off.
もう真っ暗ね。冬は日が沈むのが早いわ。
So, okay, what are you doing here?
忘れてしまったの？ほら、あなたが持っているそれよ。
So what's the stuff that you got earlier?
シチューかけご飯、味見させてくださいな。
Oh, okay, so it's the Odin from Saya, and Orihime wants to see what it tastes like. It's like, well, I want a sample of Saya's food as well. Well, I think it's not Odin, it's probably something else, but anyways, Orihime wants to see what's like. So how exactly did this happen? Well, I couldn't help but wonder as much as I spooned the stew Saya had given me back into a bowl and placed it in the microwave. Well, I don't remember saying that I would give her any. But I could not just tell her to leave now. It's like, well, Orihime is here, so... And it is quite bad to make Orihime feel sad that, well, you get nothing. Well, there's only enough for one, you know. Well, actually, Saya's mom always is generous, so it was pretty close to enough for 2 people. So I guess there's some extras for Orihime. So she knew how much I liked her stew. Okay, so it's curry. So I love curry as well, but they're quite different and had a special plate for both of them. So what is she thinking? I hope she realizes the kind of signals she's sending. I'm nervous the way things had gone to in Harbor Town. So I'm going to be alone with Orihime in my tiny little room, and of course, I'm going to get nervous.
こたつ幸せですわ。
And Orihime seems to enjoy the kotatsu more. So when I come back to my room, I see that Orihime has made herself right at home. And the appeal of the kotatsu just could not be resisted.
あら、おかえりなさい。いい匂いがするわね。
And she remains under the table as she spoke. And I set the stew on the table and sat down across from her.
これがさやさんのお宅のシチューですか。
Well, I hadn't put it on the rice yet, and we had separate plates for this.
確かにかなりドロドロしていますわね。
Well, she just uses the store-bought stuff and then makes it thicker than they suggest, so the flavor is probably stronger than usual as well. And I hope it's not they put more of the flavoring and not enough water, because then, well, I'm not sure how it's going to taste, because sometimes it doesn't come out right if you don't follow the instructions. So I thought the consistency and taste are just right to go perfectly with rice. So help yourself. The rice has been in the warmer for a while, but it's still better than the instant stuff.
こちらにシチューをかければいいの？
Yeah, so take as much as you like. And I could not believe I'm feeding Orihime stew and rice, and I bet her parents would be just as displeased as the time I introduced her to cup noodles.
では、まずは試しにちょっとだけ。
It's like, well, I'm kind of worried that this is not the food that Orihime should eat. But it is a little bit better than instant noodles, because we know that instant noodles are not good for you health-wise. She takes a single spoonful and puts it on her rice.
いただきます。
She steals herself and brings the spoonful of stew and rice to her mouth.
これはさやさんのお母様は元シェフか何かかしら？
No, she's just a regular person. Well, I don't know her work before, but I'm pretty sure she had never been a chef. So her cooking is good, but that does not... Or it's like, well, she's done this a lot, so she's good at making stuff, but it's not chef quality.
これだけの味が出せるならお店を開いてもやっていけそうな気がしますけど。
Well, this is just from a box you can get at the store. And it's probably... It'll probably taste the same as Saya made it.
日本の食品メーカーのレベルはものすごいですわね。
Well, I can't deny this. So I myself took advantage of the simple, high-quality, pre-made food stuff quite often. So how does it taste with rice?
最高ですわ。
It's good! So after tasting the first bite, she started spooning more stew into her rice. Okay, so it's faster if you do this. I picked up the bowl and started pouring stew directly onto the rice. And so much faster than taking it one spoonful at a time.
ワイルドですわね。
Wow! So just pour all over your rice then, instead of one spoon at a time. And Orihime is enjoying herself again. And if she likes this, I bet she would have a blast if I took her camping.
そうそう、せっかくですので写真を。
And another picture. And before Akito could speak, she takes out her phone and snaps a photo. And I hope this one does not generate all the negative comments like it did last time with the cup noodles. Girls these days want to take pictures of everything.
シチューかけご飯なうですわ。
Hey, wait a minute. And I was not fast enough to stop her, and my phone vibrated with a new message notification.
シチューかけご飯うまうま。
Uh-oh, too late. So anybody who had been here before would know immediately where the picture had been taken. And last time, it had only been the astronomy room at school, but this time it's my room, and this isn't going to be good. And I thought the others would start replying right away, but my phone remained silent. Well, I don't understand. Okay, so let's see. I realized why right away.
グループトークではないわよ。
Okay, so this time Orihime sends it directly to Akito and not in the group chat, so no one else gets to see this.
以前困らせてしまったようなので。
So she remembers all those negative comments. And I remember Hikaru was upset because why don't you let me in to your place, but you let Orihime in? And Sai's like, I want to join in too. And Honoka's like, well, I can't believe our president has become like this. And I guess Orihime has a sensitive side to her as well. But there's not really any point in sending it to me, is there? So on the other hand, it's like, well, this is like it's for someone else, or like for other people to see.
そうかしら。だって記念でしょ。あなたにもこの感動を共有してほしくて。
Okay? So not with the members of the Six Stars Club, so with just me. And that made me feel happy. So after we finished eating, she didn't stay long before she decided to go home.
今日はごちそうさまでした。楽しいひとときでしたわ。
So there wasn't long before the bus would show up. That meant we didn't have much time to chat. Okay, so see you tomorrow. And we need to get our work on our proposal.
こちらこそ、むしろ空見くんには迷惑ばかりかけてしまって申し訳ないわね。
Don't worry about it. So I'm having a lot of fun.
楽しいんですの？
Really? Orihime gives me a blank look. And I hope she does not think that I'm a masochist or something. So I enjoy being suffering from writing this proposal and being burdened with so much work to do. So anyways, are you having fun? Orihime gives me another blank look that is even more pronounced than before.
言われてみたらそうね。楽しいわ。
Well, it doesn't matter how tough things get. If it's something you love, you can have fun doing it.
本当にそうね。この先辛いことばかりしか見えないのに、私ワクワクしてるもの。
Well, I feel the same way. So now the question is how to convince Morita-san. And just thinking about it got me feeling depressed. And despite that, I had a strange feeling of enjoyment. Okay, so it's the next day, and I got a message from the other club members working on the plans for the observation camp. Okay.
日程はまだ調整中ですが、行き先については候補が見つかりました。
So Honoka sends me the address.
大学のセミナーハウスが借りられそうですので、そこを利用したらどうかと。
I see, so that's not a bad spot. I'm looking at the pictures, and it seems like it's a pretty nice place. So it is most likely a spot meant for students to use on retreats and stuff, but it somehow gives off the high-class vibe like Meiko.
名工の施設なんだよね。高いんじゃないの?
So it actually belongs to Meiko. It's like, well, isn't that expensive, or can we afford it?
代表者が内部生なら格安で借りられます。
Okay, it's like, well, I'm part of Meiko, so I can get a discount for this. So I'm a little concerned about the price as well. And that's probably going to be the number one obstacle.
いいところみたいですね。山もあって空気も美味しそう。
山?
So Sai had just made a passing comment, but everyone is now focused on it. Oh, so the mountain's in the back. In the photos they had online, you could clearly see lush green mountains behind the building.
雪は降らないんでしょうか?
So is it gonna snow? So even I hastily opened up my map application.
近くにスキー場がありますね。
And just like she said, there is a ski resort marked on the map not too far away. Well, I'm sure that they're not going there to ski.
雪山じゃん。どうすんの?
But it's gonna be cold. And this is just how things always seem to go. So right when we are about to find a place to stay, a new problem emerges. And what's wrong about Orihime? So all the students going about their business as Hoshidaichi keeps sneaking glances in my direction. So I think Orihime wants to meet Akito, but she stands out in this crowd. And I guess this is to be expected when there is one single girl wearing a uniform from a different school.
さやさんはよく平気でいられますわね。
So she looks graceful on the outside, but she must have been made of harder stuff on the inside. She always seems so sure of herself.
あ、2号さんだ。
So one of the girls sounded surprised as she saw me. It's probably the girl that I met the day before.
ごきげんよう。
And I smiled and nodded a casual greeting.
ねえねえ、2号さんって?
かよいずまちゃんの新たなライバル。かよいずま2号さんだよ。
So I wondered why it's become an issue, because if I remember, Orihime showed up at Hoshidaichi a couple of times in the past. And it's just because she was walking with Saya that got her this title.
なんで2号はさん付けなわけ?
だって名工だよ。お嬢様だよ。それにおっぱいだって大きいし。
おっぱいか。そりゃかよいずまちゃんも強敵だね。
あの子アイドルみたいに可愛いけど胸はないもんね。
男はおっぱいに弱いもんな。
And I could hear everything, and it's making Orihime feel uncomfortable. And other than my chest, though, I'm pretty sure that Saya's more feminine than I am, so I couldn't blame them.
ねえねえ2号さん、通い妻1号ちゃんは一緒じゃないの？
So where's number 1?
彼女は別に用があるそうですので。ってことは抜け駆けし放題か。
So you're using this opportunity to get ahead of her, right? Or steal this chance.
うわ、肉食系女子だ。肉食かどうかは分かりませんけれど、通い妻らしく差し入れは用意してきましたのよ。
So I held up my package to show them.
何持ってきたの？
So what do you bring to that guy?
カツサンドですわ。確かに肉だ。男が超好きそうなメニュー。やばいよ、通い妻ちゃん。2号さんに取られちゃうよ。
Still nothing. So Orihime is supposed to come over to my school today to talk about the planetarium event. And we see that it's because she got intercepted by the gossip girls about the commuter wife thing. So I told her to text me when she gets here, but I hadn't heard anything yet. And then that's when I hear the knock on the door. Okay, come in.
失礼いたします。
And she finally makes it to the club room. I half expected somebody else, but it is Orihime. Well, I thought you were going to text me when you are outside.
ええ、案内していただきましたので。
Uh-oh. She says it like it wasn't a big deal.
連れてきたのは俺だからな。
Okay, so Takeichi intercepts Orihime instead. So Takeichi pops his head into the room from behind Orihime. So I was the one who brought her here. Oh, Take? Oh, thanks.
これっきりにしてくれよ。廊下で軽くパニックになってたんだからな。
Wait, panic?
途中まで女子の皆さんに案内していただきましたの。
平気そうに話してるが、ありゃ10人はいたぞ。
きっと明光学院の制服が珍しかっただけでしょう。
So that's probably part of it. But I doubt that is the only reason.
そんなわけで、俺が白鳥さんを救出し、ここまで連れてきたわけだ。感謝しろよ。
Well, thanks. So I'll remember this. So I won't inconvenience you anymore with this stuff. So Takeichi had probably seen that she was in trouble and couldn't just leave her. Well, he may not look like it, but he's actually quite helpful as well.
それじゃ、約束の物を。
Okay, so about our promise.
分かっていますわ。
She opens up the package she's carrying and hands Takeichi something white.
お、マジうまそう。いっただき。
And hopefully that gets Takeichi squared away. It's like, okay, here, you have this. And Takeichi's like, okay, I'll take it. So what's this?
カツサンドです。草壁くんをこれで買収したのよ。
And here I was thinking that you were just being a nice person.
悪い悪い。いやー、カツサンドくれるって言うからよ。男子は勝てないだろう、カツサンドには。
Well, it's Orihime's sandwich, so if she wants to offer one to me, then it's her choice. And I probably couldn't. And knowing that this was made for somebody who else would make it awkward, though.
空見くんもどうぞ。
Okay, so you have one too. So I couldn't resist the temptation and went ahead and took one. And I took one bite, savoring the contrast of flavors between the thick pork cutlet and the lightly toasted bread. And the sauce is wonderful too. Wait, so what's this? So this isn't like any other cutlet sandwich I've had. I'm actually really surprised by the taste. So it really is delicious since we... Wait, when can you get the cutlet sandwich that were this good?
購買のとは団地のうまさだな。さすが名工のお嬢だ。
手作りするとだいたいこうなるらしいですわ。
Wait, you mean you don't know? And she sounds like she is just guessing.
お母様の手作りなんです。自分ではさすがにちょっと。
Okay. And I guess Orihime isn't a cook then. I bet it's that she couldn't make anything though. So it's just that her mom is probably more experienced.
自作でないと通い妻失格ということはありませんわよね。
Well, the stuff Saya brings is made by her mom too, so it's no different.
ちょっと待て。なんだよ、通い妻って。
And also, what's with this commuter wife stuff?
通い妻2号ですわ。1号はもちろん天の川さやさんです。
And I don't think Orihime understands, like, well, this is not something that you want to share with anybody casually.
アキト、てめえ
So wait, what did you do? Takeichi suddenly threw his arm around my neck and puts me in a headlock. Wait, stop it. So, what are you doing?
調子に乗りやがって
So, when did you go and get a second commuter wife? What happened to Saya? So, after thrashing me for a bit, Takeichi finally heads off to practice. It's like, well, you managed to go find another lovely girl who will come and help you deliver food for you to school and gain the name commuter wife. And the problem for Orihime is that she's too nice and she got carried away or got caught up by the other girls. Whereas for Saya, she just brushes them off and Saya's able to go about and go right to Akito. And, well, then again,
大丈夫ですの？
so Orihime sounds a little bit worried as she comes to check on me. She leans forward with an intense look on her face. Orihime, you're a little bit close.
頭蓋骨を目いっぱい締め付けられたんです。心配して当然ですわ。
So Orihime just doesn't understand the context of what's going on. And I wish she would have been more worried when it was actually happening. Not after Takeichi beat me up and went off to practice.
カツサンド食べられます？痛みがひどいなら持ち帰りにしても。
No, don't worry about me. Well, I can still eat. And the sandwich is a little warm still. And it's probably best to eat it right now anyways. And I could get a couple of drinks for us before sitting down again. So Orihime's mother cutlet sandwich is really delicious though, and we sort of got lost in enjoying them for a little while.
あんなカツサンド初めて食べましたわ。
Huh?
もっと早くに作ってくださればよかったのに。相変わらず意地悪な人です。
So somehow I got the feeling that this is not the case.
知り合いの男子に差し入れを持っていくと伝えたら、お母様がものすごい気合を入れてしまいまして。
Nice, interesting. That sounds like a mom, alright. So it's the same the first time a guy brings a girl home with him. So even though Orihime's mom doesn't know what Akito looks like, she's so excited about, oh, so Orihime's with a guy? Okay, I gotta make everything special. And then she goes all out. In order to make the girl feel welcome, the mother will go out of her way to prepare all sorts of food. There you go. I guess even Orihime's mom is a lot like the other normal moms.
おかん？
So what do you mean? Well, you know, like the strong motherly type.
うちのお母様、見た目だけは上品なんですが、性格の方がちょっと。
And I wonder if that's the case with Orihime as well. And I wouldn't be so surprised if Orihime's good looks is not the only thing she inherited from her mother. So we got a little sidetracked with the sandwiches, but we soon started talking about the event. Okay, so now for the planning of the planetarium event.
必要になるのは プラネタリウムの運営サイドに提出する企画書となりますが。
So we need to figure out where to start, and without that, I feel like we're just wandering aimlessly.
とっかかりと言いますと。
Yeah, so we should figure out what our main priority is first.
それはもちろん楽しいイベントの開催、そして来てくれたお客さんがみんな星を好きになってくれることですわ。
And that would be the ideal outcome. So getting more people interested in astronomy is one of Orihime's main reasons for doing this, or what she does. Yes, but how do we go about doing that? So what kind of event would have that effect?
そうですわね。
So now that you bring it up, it kind of makes sense. So our conversation is starting to get rather vague. So we aren't getting anywhere like this. Okay, so let's try something different. So what you are just saying is that the ideal outcome of our event. So that should be the case as long as the event is a success. So here's what I think. So this is your event, Orihime. And you're going to be playing it. So you're going to be performing it. And we don't know what it'll be about or who it's going to be for yet. But it's your plan, so don't you think it would be best to have an event that is full of the things that you would like to do? So having a successful event where lots of people would show up and enjoy themselves would be great. But I'm not sure that we could really say we accomplish our goal if we don't do it the way that we want to.
私のしたいことですか？
So what exactly is it that you want to use the planetarium to do? Okay, so you just mentioned, okay, I want to hold some event at the planetarium. But what's it going to be about? And what's the story? And what do you need to make your event work? And who is the intended audience? So tell us, or tell me. Orihime answers, and she only had 2 more months until she's going to graduate. And if there's anything left that she really wants to do before then, I want her to figure out what it is.
こんな時、原点に帰るのが良いのでしょうね。
And when people worry about or lose their way, they always return to where they start. And for me, my starting point is back when Saya, Hikari, and I had been writing that observation journal for the Mikazuki Astronomy Club. And you might even go back further than that. So the first time Hikari and I used the telescope, my father had given me to see the stars up close.
私が星を好きになったのは、お母様の影響があったからというのは、以前お話ししたと思います。
Okay? So the two of us had been holed up here polishing the mirror for the plays 1. So that was that one time when Orihime accidentally stayed over. So that was when Orihime had told me how she started watching the stars. So when she was a little girl, her mother had told her stories on the legends behind the constellations, and that's how she developed an interest. Another older student had taken her to an observation event one time, and that had been the first time she had used a telescope. She said that this was the moment her world changed, and when she realized how vast the universe is, and considered where she, or the light she saw, is coming from.
先輩に導かれて、私は天文の世界に入った。宇宙を、銀河を、その深淵に触れたいと思うようになったの。
So are going to see the people that brought Orihime to the telescope world? Or that got her to see through the telescope?
先輩に出会わなかったら、今の私はなかったと思う。 だけどお母様が作ってくれた下地もまた無視することはできない。私はお母様のおかげで星が好きな子になったから、夜空の星々に思いを馳せる喜びを教えてくれたのは紛れもなくお母様だったから、先輩がしてくれたことはむつら星の会ですればいい。私の後を継いでくれる吉岡に託せばいい。今の私がすべきは、きっとお母様がたどった道を行くこと。星座の物語を伝えることで星に興味を持ってもらいたい。
So Orihime's feelings had been put into words and taken on shape. Orihime could definitely ignite people's curiosity with the way she told the stories of the constellations.
どうかしら、分かってもらえた？
Well, it makes sense. Perfect sense. Well, if that's the case, then we should make it a program that centers around the legends behind the constellations. So it kind of matches the stories that your mother told you about.
でも星座神話のプログラムなんてありきたりすぎないかしら。
That's true. And that's where you come in. So you have to come up with a program that only you could do. So make it unique and special and distinct from the other programs. So what can you do to make it different? So don't you think that would be great? So kind of put your own thoughts into it and just what kind of stories would she tell? And I'm getting excited just thinking about it. And I hope it's not something crazy.
ならイベントのプログラム内容は星座神話にしましょう。
So there are so many legends though, so they're going to be difficult. So you gotta pick one.
最もポピュラーなのはギリシャ神話だけど、インドや中国などの逸話もあるわね。
Well, we don't have a lot of time, but let's just narrow it down bit by bit as we go. So we finally settled on an idea for the event. So we had to figure out who our target audience is going to be. So our event is scheduled for the 17th of next month, and that's Monday, and we will have to try to appeal to the kind of people who can come on the next or that day. So who has time to show up on the day that Orihime will be holding her event?
カップル向けではなさそうね。となると、主婦かしら。
So that would probably be rather difficult. So I think our target audience should be students.
学生ね。
Students? She seems to be on the verge of an idea. So her face looks like she's deep in thought.
そうよ。新入生だわ。
Okay?
部員獲得のための下準備をするのよ。来年度入学する後輩たちに向けて星の素晴らしさをアピールするのはどうかしら。
I see. So like killing two birds with one stone. And if that's the case, then our target audience will be students who are all preparing for exams, and that's their busiest time.
それはそうかもしれないけど、でも人には息抜きも必要ですわ。
Well, I'm not sure if they are going to have time to attend this event, and if they do want to take a break from studying, I'm sure there are other things that they can do instead of going to the planetarium. So Orihime sounds a little peevish as she comes up with an excuse. A breather. Well, I suppose that's important.
でしょ？プラネタリウムなんて気分転換にぴったりのはず。
Okay, so let's ask Karuna to do some little digging on her part, so she could try and gauge whether people would be interested in going. So, I'm sure she's talking to other people who are also studying hard for their exams and such.
メローペに任せておけば問題なさそうね。よくできた末の妹モテてラッキーですわ。このケーキ美味しい。
Okay, so Karuna shows up at the Mako Astronomy Club.
それは良かったです。わざわざ遠くまで買いに行った甲斐がありますわ。
And I wonder if they're using food to get Karuna to speak up or to entice her.
紅茶はいかがですか？お砂糖足りていますか？ケーキが甘いからこのくらいでいいです。
So we're at the Mako Academy Astronomy Club. And the girls are indulging Karuna with tea and cake.
なんだか至れり尽くせりで申し訳なくなっちゃうよね。
Well, I kind of feel bad that I'm being spoiled by you girls, so Orihime and Honoka.
良いのです、良いのです。あなたは妹なのですから、どんどん食べてください。食べ終えた後、少しだけ我々の話を聞いてもらいますけど。
So I hope Karuna doesn't leave. Well, our true purpose came bit by bit from Honoka. So Honoka and Orihime are deceiving her by completely pampering her. There you go.
お腹いっぱい。
Okay, so that's enough of the treats. So after 3 different slices of cake, even she's full.
あんまり食べると眠くなっちゃうかな。この後勉強しなきゃいけないんだけど。受験勉強ははかどっていますの？ぼちぼちかな。名校は受け入れる外部生の数が少ないから倍率もかなり高くて大変だよ。
Karuna complains, but she didn't look worn out from study. And I suppose she is the sound of body and mind. So we have something to ask you, Karuna.
あなたたち受験生についていろいろ聞かせてもらいたいの。
So Karuna, or Honoka, refills the tea without missing a beat. And there's no plan to block her escape, but it worked just like this.
いいけど何が聞きたいの？
Okay, so what do you want to know? Okay, so I'm going to leave that to the next episode. I think this is a good place to stop. So it's kind of interesting that Honoka and Orihime are trying to indulge Karuna with so many refreshments just so that Karuna will be comfortable to stay and answer really hard questions that they're about to ask her. So I also wonder what Orihime's event is about because she wants to do a planetarium event but has no plan. And it makes it hard for anybody to help Orihime. So it's going to be some kind of story or legend, but Orihime is like, well, I want to make it special so that it stands out from the other regular events. And on a last note, so with regards to the commuter wife thing, I feel that Orihime is just being too nice and really doesn't know how to turn down the other girls and their gossip, and she feels more emotional compared to Saya. And maybe, well then again, Saya's been with Akito for a long time and she doesn't mind versus Orihime. But anyways, with all that in mind, I'll see you later.